Our relationship with China is complicated. We trade heavily but compete for power. Earlier this year, we signed a historic trade deal with China, but now that deal could be in jeopardy. Just this week, President Trump says he's not happy with the Chinese.
I feel differently now about that deal than I did 3 months ago, and we'll see what all happens, but it's been a very disappointing situation. Very disappointing thing happened with China.
Recently, I spoke with geopolitical strategist Peter Zion of the future of the two powers. Tell me something. You're obviously seeing this collision coming a mile away between the United States and China. This is going to define the next 100 years. There's going to be a new world order after this virus. And obviously China is acting very defensive because we know that they're responsible, either through sloppiness or we don't know. How does China try to take advantage of the situation, and are they even up to trying to replace America as the sole superpower?
Well, let me correct you on one point real quick. This is not a battle for the ages. This is not a battle of equals. This will not last a century. This will probably be over in 3 or 4 years. The only reason that China is a unified country with a significant economy is because the United States created the global order. And for various reasons, the United States is getting out of that business. China doesn't have the military capacity to protect their own trade routes, much less the global system. So this really is the end for them. And if that was not enough for you, remember the one-child policy? Well, 35 years after the one-child policy, they've run out of 30-year-olds because, that's how math works. China can't function without access to the global system, and if there's no global system, there's no China.
So you're predicting the beginning of the end for the Chinese rise. How do you see that actually happening?
If I had to guess right now, with what we've seen in the last few weeks, the Chinese Politburo, the people at the top, are convinced that there is no way forward without the United States continuing to do what it's done for the last 70 years. Whether it's Trump or his successor, this really is the end of the global order. Americans left, right, and center are just tired of it, and China knows they can't survive without it. And if the Chinese government fully has accepted that that is something that they cannot duplicate or replicate, then they've got to prepare for a complete political lockdown. Because if they've got to choose between a China that is linked to various parts of the world but starts to fracture, or one that they can hold the pieces together and they just drop into a Maoist tyranny, that's not the debate in China. They're going to try to hold it together. So you tell these lies, try to blame everybody. They tried to blame the Italians for the virus at the height of the Italian epidemic, which is just ridiculous. They're not doing this because of us. They're trying to spark nationalist resentment in their own country in order to hold the center.
Wow, that's fascinating. So you're saying as Japan pulls manufacturing out of China, as the United States pulls out, as a lot of people want to hold China accountable for what happened, China is going to probably hunker down within itself, try to consolidate power domestically, and try to survive. The communist Chinese are trying to survive a kind of a crippling effect of the change in the geopolitical landscape. The way you're saying the trajectory is, it can't last that much longer.
No, it can't. And ever since she came to power about 6 years ago, it's all about consolidation. They knew that this day was always going to happen, and here we are.